What's up, everybody?
Booker's status tonight?
Game time decision. He's gonna warm up, see how it feels, and hopefully we have him back. But it'll be game time decision.
How, just hearing you say that, clearly that means he's closer. So if it's not tonight, ideally you get him back for the road trip, right?
Yeah, before the playoffs, we'll get him back.
But you same start. Well, if he doesn't play, same starting lineup.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it safe to assume if he does play, he'll be on a minutes restriction of any kind?
Just a range. No firm number.
And Bradley Beal, how is he progressing?
No change in his. He's making progress, but no change in his status.
When you look at the turnovers from the first handful of games, obviously a lot of new faces, learning each other's tendencies. What have you noticed about the nature of those turnovers?
Yeah, so we're asking him to play extra pass basketball, and a lot of it comes down to that. But for the most part, we're just being too sloppy with the basketball. And, I would say for a handful of them, we're being too sloppy. And then for a handful of them, our spacing breaks down. And, it puts the guy with the ball in a bad way. Early season stuff hopefully gets corrected.
Similar lines, what did you see when you went back and looked at the zone and how you guys, you mentioned failing to execute against that in that last game? What kind of stood out to you from those moments?
There's a lot of holes in the zone that we didn't attack, that we can't attack.
Coach, what have you seen in the last just 24 hours with Devin as far as progress to get to the point that he's a game time decision?
Yeah, they're pushing him in his workouts, and it's always about push him in his workouts, and then see how his body responds to that. And it's been responding well, so he's getting close.
Two questions real quick. First of all, when you looked at the fourth quarter against the Lakers, and then you looked at the fourth quarter Tuesday, both of those where you had the big leads to start the quarter, how similar or dissimilar were those experiences? Obviously, Brandon talked about zone and stuff like that, but were you seeing progress between the two, or what?
Yeah, some similarities. We scored 11 points in the fourth quarter Lakers game and 19 against the Spurs the other night. So, if your offense is going to stall out, the other team's going to have a chance to get back in the game.
And then my second question is, there's a new rule of you got to play 65 games to be considered for the end of season awards like All-NBA and MVP and all that. Do you feel like that's something that the players are really going to shoot for?
That's a really good question for them. I have no idea whether that's going to factor into each. I think each individual player will look at that differently.
Coach, the lineups without Kevin, Devin, or Bradley really struggled. Obviously, the roster is designed to have at least one of those guys, probably two on the floor at all times. But in those lineups so far, when the offense has struggled, what have you seen as problems that you can address?
Turnovers, spacing, and just general execution. We've had some stretches where we were successful, but we can be better for sure.
Coach, how good is it though to play the same team so you can at least see, okay, what we didn't execute the first goal, we need to improve upon that. These back-to-back against the same team, is that a good thing in this situation because of how the last game went?
Yeah, I don't really give that much thought. They're the next opponent on the schedule for us. It doesn't really matter to me whether we played them 2 days ago or 2 weeks ago. I do think because it's the very next opponent, you can, make some corrections to how the game went last time. And I don't want to call them adjustments because there's not, early season. We're not doing a whole lot of different things schematically, but we can be a hell of a lot more physical than we were last game. And obviously taking care of the ball better.
Frank, I know you talked about him on Tuesday, but seeing him again, or seeing him in person, what kind of impact did you think Victor had on the game?
A huge impact. He can hurt you in a lot of different ways offensively, with his shooting, his ability to create his own shot, his ability to attack the basket and dunk on your whole defense. And you got to know where he is on the defensive side or our offensive side, because he blocked 2 of our 3-point shots and deterred a lot more at the rim, so he's a heck of a defensive presence as well.
Had you seen him in person at all in your travels, or was it jarring at all to see it?
I was off last year. So. No. I almost went to Vegas to see that showcase they had out there, but I did not go.
Frank, speaking of his defensive impact, you've seen plenty of zone, but with his size and length, how does that defense with him kind of at the top of that alter what kind of a basic zone approach it is?
Yeah, I mean it's similar to how other teams will use shot blockers. You know what I mean? I mean he's the biggest guy in the league. But we played against guys like Rudy throughout our career, and we know how to attack them. So whether it's man or zone, we just have to have an awareness of where he's at.